Love after 60, 3 desperate needs men have in a relationship that 95% of women never give. When people discuss love and relationships after the age of 60, they often reduce a man's emotional needs to something very simple, as though all he really wants is respect, affection, and a little kindness. But from my own experiences, and from listening to countless men in this stage of life, I know the reality runs much deeper. The heart of an older man is shaped by experiences, disappointments, victories, and years of quiet reflection. What he longs for in a relationship isn't found in grand romantic gestures, flattering words, or expensive gifts. Instead, his deepest needs are emotional and often overlooked. Not because women don't care, but because few people ever explain what truly matters to a man later in life. Many women pour genuine love, patience, and effort into their relationships, yet they still find themselves wondering why the man they care about becomes distant. They notice him withdrawing into silence, growing emotionally reserved, or seeming less connected than before, and they struggle to understand what has changed. So let me take you a little deeper. Let me show you what truly moves a man in his 60s and 70s, what keeps him loyal, gentle, and emotionally present. In a moment, we will look closely at the 3 quiet needs men desire the most but rarely receive. Now, take a slow breath with me, because this first need might surprise you more than anything else. Need number 1, emotional safety and acceptance. Have you ever sat beside a man you know loves you yet felt as though he was somewhere far away? Perhaps he becomes unusually quiet, withdraws into himself, or avoids conversation, even though nothing upsetting has happened between you. That silence is often misunderstood. It rarely means he has stopped caring. More often, it reflects a deeper emotional struggle that he doesn't know how to express. Many men were raised believing that showing emotion was a weakness. From an early age, they were encouraged to stay strong, hide their fears, and never allow sadness to show. Crying was discouraged, vulnerability was mistaken for failure, and strength was measured by how well emotions could be buried. As the years passed, many became skilled at masking pain behind work, responsibility, humor, or practical thinking. Even when life became overwhelming, they learned to carry the burden quietly. For many men entering their 60s and 70s, the greatest emotional fear is not being alone or even being rejected. It is the possibility that revealing their struggles might cause the woman they love to see them differently. A man can endure tremendous hardship, but the thought of losing his partner's admiration because he admitted fear, sadness, or uncertainty can be deeply unsettling. That fear often keeps his emotions locked away for decades. I remember a retired gentleman named Henry. He was kind-hearted, gentle, and rarely complained. Retirement, however, brought unexpected emotional challenges that he kept to himself. One afternoon, emotion finally caught up with him. In front of his wife, a single tear slipped down his face. Almost immediately, he apologized again and again, embarrassed that she had witnessed such a vulnerable moment. Later, he confesses, "I worry she will never see me the same way again." Those few words revealed something profound. Men don't always hide because they distrust the people they love. Often, they hide because they are afraid vulnerability will diminish the respect they have spent a lifetime earning. What many older men long for most is a relationship where they don't have to remain emotionally guarded all the time. They want a partner who allows them to be silent without assuming the worst, who accepts difficult emotions without demanding immediate explanations, and who offers understanding instead of judgment. Emotional safety doesn't mean life is free from disagreements or difficult conversations. It means knowing those moments won't threaten the love or respect between two people. When a man experiences that kind of acceptance, remarkable changes begin to happen. He gradually lowers the walls he has carried for years. His conversations become more open, his warmth returns, and emotional closeness grows naturally instead of being forced. Without that sense of safety, however, silence becomes his refuge. He retreats not because he wishes to hurt anyone, but because protecting his heart feels like the only option he knows. Once a man feels emotionally secure, another equally important need begins to emerge. Need number 2, freedom without misunderstanding. Many people assume that when a man spends time alone, his feelings have changed. In reality, that assumption has quietly damaged countless relationships. The truth is that many men recover emotionally through solitude. They regain perspective in silence. As they grow older, this need often becomes even more important. When worries accumulate and life's responsibilities become overwhelming, most men don't instinctively seek lengthy emotional discussions. Instead, they look for a little space, a quiet walk, an hour in the workshop, time in the garden, or simply sitting alone with their thoughts. To an outside observer, it may seem like withdrawal. For him, it is emotional recovery. Quiet moments help organize scattered thoughts. Solitude restores balance. A little distance often allows him to return more patient, more thoughtful, and more emotionally available. Problems arise when this natural process is mistaken for rejection. A loving partner may immediately ask, "Is something wrong? Why aren't you talking? Did I upset you?" Those questions usually come from concern, but to a man who already feels mentally overwhelmed, they can unintentionally create even more pressure. It is not the questions themselves that cause him to close off. It's the feeling that he's expected to explain emotions he hasn't yet sorted out himself. Many older men are deeply drawn to women who understand this difference. They appreciate partners who respect moments of silence, allow breathing room without taking it personally, and trust that temporary distance doesn't automatically mean emotional distance. I once met a woman named Laura who remarried later in life. Her husband, William, had a habit of quietly spending an hour alone in the backyard whenever life became stressful. Laura never interrupted those moments or insisted he explain himself. When I asked why, she smiled warmly and replied, "Because every time he comes back, he's gentler than before." She understood something many people miss. Giving a man room to gather himself isn't pushing him away. Often, it is what allows him to return with renewed affection, patience, and emotional clarity. When this need is not respected, however, he may retreat even further. Conversations become shorter. Emotional connection weakens. Not because love has disappeared, but because he feels he has no space to recover. Have you ever mistaken a loved one's quietness for a lack of affection? Many of us have. Sometimes understanding that silence serves as healing rather than rejection can completely transform a relationship. Even the strongest tree benefits from being left undisturbed now and then. Human hearts aren't much different. There is one final emotional need that many older men quietly carry, and it may be the most powerful of all. Need number 3, feeling respected and truly chosen. Have you ever noticed how a man's expression changes after being interrupted, dismissed, or repeatedly corrected? Often it is subtle, a pause, lowered shoulders, or a quiet withdrawal that passes almost unnoticed. Yet for many men, those small moments carry enormous emotional weight. Love gives comfort, but respect gives stability. A man in his later years may hear the words, "I love you," yet if he constantly feels doubted, criticized, or overruled, those words gradually lose their ability to reassure him. Instead, he begins to wonder whether his opinions still matter. He questions his value and whether he is still seen as capable, dependable, and worthy of trust. Respect communicates something powerful without saying much at all: "I believe in you." Those simple feelings strengthen a man's confidence far more than praise alone ever could. When a man feels trusted, he naturally becomes more patient, more affectionate, and more engaged. He isn't acting from pride, he's responding to the security that comes from feeling valued. Research on long-term relationships has also found that many men withdraw emotionally when they feel consistently criticized or controlled rather than appreciated. Over time, silence becomes a form of self-protection rather than punishment. When trust replaces constant correction, emotional closeness often returns on its own because the relationship begins to feel like a partnership instead of a contest. But respect is only part of what older men long for. Deep down, many also want to know they are genuinely chosen. Not simply needed for financial security, practical help, or companionship, but loved for who they are as individuals. When a man believes he's valued only for what he provides, affection slowly turns into obligation. He continues fulfilling responsibilities, yet emotionally he feels increasingly disconnected. Everything changes when he knows his partner wants him, not because of convenience, but because of the person he has become through a lifetime of experiences. Feeling chosen inspires greater tenderness, generosity, and emotional openness. It reminds him that his greatest worth lies in his character rather than his usefulness. As men grow older, many hope for a relationship built on companionship instead of duty, a bond where both people walk beside one another rather than one carrying the weight alone. When respect and genuine appreciation exist together, they create a love marked by loyalty, peace, and quiet devotion. Respect gives a man confidence. Feeling chosen gives him joy. And beyond all of these needs lies one final desire that quietly lives within many hearts, a relationship filled with peace, where love isn't a constant struggle but a place of comfort, understanding, and emotion gathering.